Welcome back to Rusty Relics Ranch. It's been a minute or two since we did the last video. Last one we did was cultivating, so that's been quite a while, but corn and milo have just been growing, and here we are at harvest time. Today we're going to harvest just a really small plot of milo, and we're going to do that with the Farmall 1456 and this International 80 pull behind combine. I know what you're thinking, 1456 is a bit overkill for an 80 combine, but there's a story there. I'll go into more detail on the tractor and the combine at the end of the video. In case you don't want to see that, you can at least see the cutting. So anyway, let's go cut some milo. Okay, hopefully you like the Milo cutting. If you feel like staying a little longer, I'll tell you a little bit about the tractor and the combine. So this rough-looking 1456 here, I purchased this past December. Really haven't done anything to it, but changed the oil, blew out the filter and the radiator. Hadn't even really cleaned it up. But let me tell you a little bit about the history of it here. This was my dad's tractor. He bought this thing brand new in 1971 from Schultz Implement, and when we stopped farming in 1985, it was sold. And after years, it was sold again. And it took me a couple years to track it down, but I finally did. And of course, the guy that had it didn't want to sell it for a while. But eventually, I got it back this past December, so it's back in the family. It's rough. Like it had a hard life, but has a lot of sentimental value to it. When my dad had it, it didn't have the ROPS canopy on it. We just had a bow or a buggy type umbrella on it. But anyway, she's back. Something a little bit maybe unique about it is that it doesn't have a TA. It never did. From when it was brand new, it was just a hole plug here. And so we never had any TA issues with it. So always like that, and it had plenty of power, didn't really need it. So we'll move on to the 80 combine. I actually did a short video on this 2 years ago when I was shelling corn with it. And it worked okay. It wasn't ideal, but it worked pretty well. So this year I thought I'd bring it out, do another video, and show it doing some Milo, which what it had been doing when I purchased it. There was Milo stalks and whatnot in it. It hadn't run for many years. It was in a barn, so I had to put new tires on it just to drag it home. But it needed all the normal routine maintenance on it. The biggest things really that I had to do was all of the flaps in the grain elevator, and also about half the flaps in the tailings elevator had to be replaced because rodents had totally chewed them up. So I had to basically make flaps from leftovers from the 915 my dad used to have, plus out a rubber tire, whatever it took to make flaps and replace the old ones. The biggest issue I still have with this machine is the shaker pivots they're basically worn out, and so when you get this thing up to rated speed, they wobble around a lot, and you can see it's been welded on here, and so all this needs to be pulled apart and rebuilt. These pivots here rebuilt to to keep it from shaking itself apart, basically. But other than that, it does real well. It produces a pretty clean grain sample, and has the straw spreader on it, and good for just real small acreage, I suppose. Wouldn't want to do 1,000 acres, but it's fun to play with. And I guess that's about it. Next video, we're going to be shelling some corn with a 615. There is something I wanted to add about the tractor. Just thinking about the history of it, when I was 10 years old, basically, I remember driving this tractor, and because it didn't have a TA, assuming because it didn't have a TA, it also doesn't have a hydraulic clutch. And so the clutch is very stiff. So when I was 10 years old, I was just a skinny kid, and to be able to stop the tractor and get the clutch pushed in, basically I had to grab hold of the steering wheel and pull myself against the steering wheel, and basically like stand up and step on the clutch at the same time. So what I was doing was shredding and disking. I was pulling a 4-row service shredder and a Model 37 disc behind it, and I got to where I didn't have to stop on the end. I didn't have to clutch it. I just slowed it down and worked the hydraulics on the shredder and disc, turn around without ever stopping, because getting on that clutch more than I needed to was pretty difficult. So anyway, just want to add that. It's just one of my first memories I have with this tractor. Also, real quick on the combine, it's an early 60s machine. Most people that see it think it's older, but it's not. It has the 7-foot header with the platform auger, not the Draper style conveyor. So it is a little bit newer. So yeah, early 60s. I think they made them up until 64. But, so that's it. That's all I wanted to add.